Hello, beautiful internet family. Dan here from DansTube.TV, and today I've got a really exciting video, something I've wanted to do for a while now, but this video is all about the best DJI drones for all budgets. So that ranges from $169 all the way up to 4,200 Australian dollars. So it's basically all budgets covered here. I've got 5 drones to show you, and this is going to be a really cool one because hopefully it will help a ton of people make the right buying decision for their needs. I've created a bunch of content on my channel for the 5 drones that I will mention, so make sure to go to the channel, subscribe if you haven't already, and also check out those drones on the channel. You know, if you're considering one of the middle drones or the first drone I mentioned or whatever, one of the 5 drones I mentioned, go to the channel, type in the name, search for it, and you'll find some content on that drone just to give you a bit more of a better understanding of what you're going to get from the drone if this video doesn't cover that, which it should, but there will be a ton of other content over there to help you make the right decision. Okay, the first drone is the DJI Tello, or the Rise Tello. It's kind of like a hybrid kind of collaboration here between like Intel, Rise, and DJI. So it's the most budget-friendly drone. It's 169 Australian dollars, but man, this thing is remarkable. For such a small drone, it really does an amazing job. And I've tested a bunch of toy drones in the past. This is the only drone I can recommend. Honestly, like I've tried tons of different brands, all different prices, and they're all kind of in that toy category. But the Tello packs so much into it. There are so many options. It's even programmable. It's only $169. It's the best like hovering experience I've had from any toy drone. A lot of those toy drones out there will kind of move all around and they can't really handle themselves. Where the Tello does a great job. It is very small, so I'd recommend not flying it in like really windy conditions. Definitely testing it in a contained environment first, and even just testing it in the house. You know, it's so small, it's a toy drone. As long as no one's around, it should be fine just to test it in a controlled house or like an area that's contained by trees so that there's no wind. Because I have had occasional, I want to say flyaways with it, where the wind has been too strong and I haven't actually been able to fly the drone back. So just be aware of that. It is still a toy drone, but the Tello is remarkable. For just $169, it does everything you need for your first drone. With all of that being said, the Tello has a 5 megapixel camera. So you're not going to be using this footage to capture breathtaking, high quality films that are going to be seen at the cinema, you know? They're not going to be something that you're going to be necessarily proud of sharing on social. Like the video quality is okay and it's decent to share, but just keep in mind this is not a filmmaking drone. The camera is more so just a guide so you can see what the drone can see. But outside of that, you still can record, you can take photos, you can do 8 different flips. There's all these crazy flip modes you can do. There's this bouncing mode, lots of random fun things. But the thing that's so cool, especially if you're getting this for, you know, your kid or someone who's relatively young, it's got programming options. So you can actually help people learn a skill. Like you can actually teach people how to program different modes and different things into the drone. So there's a full software, there's a full like programming option within it, which I think is probably one of the best selling points here, because it's not just a drone, it's also an educational tool as well. So it really is a budget-friendly drone. It's a perfect gift for someone on their birthday or for some sort of event or celebration that you've got going on. It's fantastic. 169 Australian dollars, and you're gonna have a lot of fun. I would recommend getting additional batteries though, as they don't last for too long. But besides that, it's a really good offering, and anyone who gets this would be happy with it. The amount of people I've recommended this drone to, and then they've bought it for their dad or their friend, and then that person's unpacked it, unwrapped it, and they've been so happy with it, and they've got so much out of it, and then moved on to a more expensive drone later on. But this is kind of like the gateway drone, let's call it. It really gives you a chance to have fun with it and really see what drones are capable of doing at such an affordable price point. If you do want to pick up the Tello, I actually do have an exclusive discount code for the D1 store. The code is DANSTube, and you will save 10% off your purchase. So this will apply to the first 4 drones that I show you. The final drone, the 5th drone, will have a different code, but this code, DANSTube, will save you 10% off most of the drones, cameras, and accessories from the D1 store. The next drone up in the budget range is the Mini SE, the DJI Mini SE, which didn't come out that long ago. This has actually replaced the original Mavic Mini. Really hard to get a Mavic Mini now. So the Mini SE is my recommendation. And honestly, get the Fly More combo. If you're going to be getting the Mini SE, the Fly More combo is the one you want. It gives you that additional battery options. You're going to have 3 batteries instead of the 1. You're going to have a ton of different accessories, and it's just worth it, like more so for the batteries over anything. But man, it makes a big difference to have that additional flight time. The Mini SE will set you back 569 Australian dollars. Like I mentioned before, you can use the code DansTube from the D1 store and you can save 10% off this drone. I would recommend the Fly More combo, and that's that 569 for the Fly More combo. It includes everything you need, and you also get those additional batteries as well, which makes a big difference. But this mini little drone here is slightly larger than the Tello. It's built a lot more solid than the Tello, and it can withstand a bunch of different wind conditions. It does a great job in really any condition you throw it at. For such a small drone, amazingly enough, I've had no issues with it. It really can handle most conditions. Keep in mind though that if you're flying, against the wind to try to get back to you, it's still going to struggle a little bit. So you need to be aware of that. Wind direction is a big thing when you're flying your drone. Make sure that you're flying with the wind, or if you have to fly against the wind, make sure you actually give yourself enough time to fly back. It's a really big thing here. You're getting 2.7K video out of this drone, 12 megapixel stills. It's got a flight time of 30 minutes, even though you're probably getting about, let's say 25 minutes. Wind resistance of level 5, which is improved over the Mavic Mini, which this guy's replacing. The Mini SE is replacing that original Mavic Mini. And you're getting, like I said, that level 5 wind resistance. So it really can handle lots of different wind conditions, and it does a great job when it does it. Another thing to mention is that the Mini SE actually has a 3-axis gimbal, where the Tello, for example, it just has a fixed camera. It does have some form of digital stabilisation on the Tello, which I mentioned before, but it's definitely not like stable at all. And this actually has a proper 3-axis gimbal, so stable footage, 2.7K footage, so very usable if you want to put it up on social media. This drone does a great job. It also captures great photos as well at 12 megapixels. And like I said, that wind resistance, this can handle all sorts of wind conditions, where the Tello, I would not recommend pushing it too far. Also, when you compare the Mini SE to the Tello, the Mini SE actually has a range of 4 kilometers. It has a bunch of different quick shot modes, and it's got a really reliable return to home mode, where again, if we talk about the Tello, it does have a few little features and modes and whatever else, but you've really got to be careful with it. You can't trust it in high winds. You can't fly it too far away, where with the Mini SE, you really can. Like, this is definitely the next step up from the Tello, and it's extremely capable. Like, it's actually quite a large leap. If we look at the Tello to the Mini SE, it's a large leap. You're spending obviously a couple of $100 more, like a couple of $100 more, but it's definitely worth that bump. If you want to go straight to this, if you want to buy someone a gift, this is actually the drone I'd recommend for most people. It's just a really capable drone, and it has a ton of options. The next upgrade, or the next progression in the budget-friendly space, is going from the Mini SE to probably the most budget-friendly 4K mini drone. This is the Mini 2. They look almost identical, which is kind of weird. I've got a full comparison on the channel if you want to check out the Mavic Mini compared to the Mini SE compared to the Mini 2. They all look very, very similar, but the difference is the Mini 2 actually has a 4K sensor. So you can capture 4K video. It's also got the option to capture raw photos as well, which the other two don't. And it's got improved range as well. So I would say the Mini 2 is a big improvement over the Mini SE here, but they look very similar, like remarkably similar, but there's definitely some improvements here with the Mini 2. For 949 Australian dollars, you're getting yourself the Fly More combo, which includes those additional batteries. You also get a bag and a few other things. It's definitely worth it. And like I mentioned, remember to use the code DANSTube through the D1 store to save that 10%. And you can get yourself the actual proper Fly More combo, which is definitely worth your money, I promise you. Now, again, looking at this, very similar design. It's pretty much the exact same chassis, the same body here, but but you're getting a different controller with the Mini 2. You're also getting that improved 4K sensor on the front, which is really nice. It's still got a 3-axis gimbal. It still only captures 12 megapixels still, so it's not a massive increase, but you can capture raw images. So that does give you a lot more options to play around with in post-production. So for people out there that want to take their drone a little bit more seriously, the 4K and those raw photos are going to make a big difference. And then obviously that improved range with that new controller is a big calling card for the Mini 2. In terms of the controllers, this little one here is the controller for the Mini SE. It's actually been a staple in DJI's world. This controller design has been around for a very, very long time. So this is the one you're getting with the Mini SE, and then this is the improved one. A lot of people actually prefer this one for some reason, but you get this improved design here for the Mini 2, and it comes with a top-mounted option for your phone, so you don't actually have to take your phone out of its case, where on this one you have to take it out of its case to put it in the controller, as it kind of folds down like that, for example, and then you have to slip the phone in. Where this one, you literally just load it up on top, you can leave the case in. The cable management's really nice, it's just tucked around here, nice and easy, but you're getting that improved range with the Mini 2, which again is a big calling card for a lot of people out there. Range and quality and obviously battery performance is a big thing. The Mini 2 does have a quoted flight time of 31 minutes, where the Mini SE, 30 minutes. So you're getting 1 extra minute, could make the difference to someone out there, but probably not. It's more so to do with that 4K, the raw photos, and then the improved controller, but also that improved flight time as well. I keep saying flight time. The improved range, that's what we're talking about here. The improved range for the Mini 2. So definitely an improvement here. Again, it's hard to say whether you need to go for the Mini 2 or, you know, if you're considering a drone, you don't think the Tello is worth it, it's too cheap, you want to get into the market. If you've got the money for the Mini 2, go for that. But the Mini SE is going to do, you know, the right thing for most people. It really is a fantastic drone. And most people are going to be happy with the Mini SE. It's just for those people that want to get those few additional offerings, they're probably going to consider the Mini 2. But again, remember that there aren't too many differences here. The Mini SE still has a lot of those quick shot modes and a lot of those options. They both can't track you. So the Mini 2 can't track you, the Mini SE can't track you, and also the Tello can't track you. I believe there are options to code that in, but I don't know how reliable that would be. So none of these drones so far can actually track you. There's no active track. The Mavic Mini can track you with third-party apps because the SDK was released, but that might be a little bit too much for you right now. So just remember, no tracking right now at the time of me filming this video for the Mini 2, the Mini SE, or the Tello. Another big point to consider is when it comes to that transmission, when it comes to the actual range you're going to get out of the drone based on the transmission that's getting sent. The Mini SE is using advanced Wi-Fi, where the Mini 2 is using OcuSync 2, so that's why you're getting the significantly improved range. But with that being said, it does actually make a difference because obviously there's a lot of Wi-Fi networks around, so there's a lot more potential for interference on the Mini SE, where the Mini 2 is using OcuSync 2. So it's like a standalone technology that DJI have created, which means that you are definitely going to get a more stable flight with the Mini 2. So it really depends. If all of those points help you out, I really hope so, because yeah, they're very similar. When you look at them on paper, even though it is 4K for the Mini 2, I would say that it's not a significant, noticeable improvement. Like, yes, it's noticeable that it's 4K, sure, but I have a feeling that they're very similar sensors here. When we look at them and when we compare them, both great video quality at 2.7K, a slight bump up for the Mini 2 at 4K, and obviously those raw photos as well. But again, very similar offering. Just keep in mind what you need the drone for. You know, is it for social media? Is it just for fun? If it's just for fun and if it's just for social media, the Mini SE is probably good enough for you. But if you're really into your photos and you really want to color grade and tweak them and you want those raw photos, that could be the calling card for you. Or if you really need 4K, that could be the calling card. Or if you want that additional range, again, that could be the calling card. So I think they're the three things you need to consider when you're comparing the Mini SE and the Mini 2. For my fourth recommendation, now this is getting a little bit more expensive again. So for 2,099 Australian dollars, you can get yourself the Air 2S Fly More combo. Now, this is a big leap right here in terms of quality, in terms of flight, in terms of just the build quality of the drone itself, and actually what you're capturing on that 1-inch sensor on the front there. The Air 2S is when you start taking drones seriously. Like I'd say the Mini 2, yeah, you're probably getting relatively serious about your drone, but the Air 2S...
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Siri, come on. We're talking about DJI here, not Apple. Now, when we're talking about the Air 2S with that 1-inch sensor on the front there, it really does make a big difference in terms of quality. So the Mini 2 can obviously capture 4K, but it's got nothing on the Air 2S. Remember, if you do want to get the Air 2S, you can still use that same code, DansTube, and you can save 10% off your Fly More combo. Again, that's the one I'd recommend just because of that flight time. You know, it makes a big difference to have the additional 3 batteries in total, or the additional 2. Makes a big difference. You get the bag, you get a few other accessories. Definitely worth your time getting the Fly More combo for sure. Now, the reason that this is a big leap is because it just takes everything on the Mini 2, every offering, everything you thought was so amazing about it, and it just jumps over it significantly. You know, it hurdles it just keeps running. It's a 5.4K sensor, so it's not just 4K, you can capture 5.4K at 30 frames per second. Amazing stuff, it looks remarkable. I'm very impressed with what you can capture out of this 1-inch sensor. Mentioning 1-inch sensors is also significantly larger than the sensors on definitely the Tello, but also the Mini SE and the Mini 2. That 1-inch sensor is going to make the world of difference if you care about photo and video. It's a 20 megapixel sensor, not a 12 megapixel sensor. Like I said, it's got 5.4K, plus it can also track you. So it's got active track options, unlike the other ones I've mentioned prior. So if you care about tracking yourself, if you want to go on a bike ride or a walk or drive your car, something like that, when you want to track yourself, then you really need to get the Air 2S because the others don't really offer it. You can maybe look into some other offerings if this is a little bit too expensive. There are definitely other DJI drones that can track you, but I think the Air 2S is almost the perfect package. It really has everything that you need in a drone. It comes with the same controller as the Mini 2, so nothing majorly different about the design, but it's OcuSync 3, not OcuSync 2. So you're getting 12 kilometers of range here. Ridiculous stuff. And you definitely do notice the improvement here. Even though the Mini 2 has great range on it, I'm noticing that the Air 2S just really does take it to the next level. You know, I never have issues with interference. It never drops out. It's just reliable and consistent all the time. The other thing that takes this drone to the next level is that it has the APAS mode, as well as, like I said, the active track. So it can actually genuinely track you, avoid trees, avoid all sorts of things, and it does a remarkable job. It's probably one of the best tracking systems I've used on a drone, and this is on the Air 2S. I haven't even gone to the high-end drone that we're going to talk about next, but it has sensors everywhere, upward, front, we've got the rear, we've also got below as well. It's just missing side sensors, but besides that, it's got sensors everywhere. It's like almost omnidirectional, it's everywhere. They call it omnidirectional, but yeah, no side sensors here, just up, front, rear, and below, but still does an amazing job. A very safe flight, and that APAS, that avoiding where it can, you know, bypass you while it still tracks you, remarkable stuff. The active track works perfectly here, and I'm very impressed with the Air 2S overall. It's a fantastic offering, and again, like I said, pretty much everything you need in a drone. This is like the go-to drone at that price range. The 1-inch CMOS sensor definitely makes a difference. Like I said, those 20 megapixel stills they stand out. They significantly stand out over the Mini 2. You can see the difference. The video quality, even at 4K, significantly stands out over the Mini 2. The flight performance, I would definitely say that this handles the wind a lot better. It's a lot faster. It's a lot more nimble in the sky. I really do love this drone. I can't stop saying positive things about it. I don't think there's anything negative about this drone. Like, even the price point is reasonable considering what you're getting here. I think this is almost the perfect drone for most people. And for those people that want to take it seriously, it does have all the options you need, like raw photos. It's got 12.6 dynamic stops, so tons of dynamic range there. 5.4K, like I said, 20 megapixel stills. You can capture tons of different options, including slow motion options as well. And yeah, has active track, has tons of quick shot modes, has a better range than the previous drones I've mentioned. It really is the perfect offering here. And yeah, I kind of want to say this is the one to go for if you feel like the previous ones might not do what you need, or you really want active track, or you really want to take photos and videos more seriously. Then this is yeah, the one to look into at the moment until I mention the next one. Maybe you want to spend a bit more money, who knows? But the Air 2S is a masterpiece, really. And if you compare it to the Mavic Air 2, which is its little younger sister, it actually significantly jumps over that one. Like, it's a really big upgrade. It's not just a 2S, it's almost like the third version. It's that much of an upgrade. Maybe they didn't do that to try to not sell out too many people before the Mavic 3 came out. I don't know. It's weird because it is more than an S model here. It's a big improvement. Considering it's got a massive 1-inch sensor, which we only previously saw on the Mavic 2 Pro, I think, yeah, one of my favorite drones to date, and I've tested a ton of drones. Now moving on to the final drone for this video. This is the 5th drone in terms of the best DJI drones for all budgets. This drone is $4,200 for the Fly More combo. So it's double the price of the previous drone, and it only just came out. It's called the Mavic 3. Amazing piece of technology here. It's actually a lot larger than the Air 2S. Like, when you look at them, quite a difference in terms of build quality. This thing feels like it can handle and it can weather any storm. It really is a remarkably well-built piece of technology. If you are considering the Mavic 3, then it's a different code you have to use on the D1 store. The code is DANS100. That will save you $100 off your purchase, whether you get the Fly More combo, the Cine edition, or just the standalone Mavic 3. It will save you $100 off that, but you'll also get 3 mystery gifts that aren't a mystery, because I'll tell you right now. You get a 128 gigabyte micro SD card, you get a battery safe bag, and you also get a landing pad, not pag. So that's 3 items plus $100 off. Really cool deal here. That's DANS100. The Mavic 3 only just came out, and like I said, it's double the price of the Air 2S. So for a lot of people who are considering the Air 2S or the Mavic 3, I'll have a full comparison on the channel. I've got a few comparisons coming up very soon for the Air 2S versus the Mavic 3, but this guy here can capture 5.1K video. Now you might be wondering, Dan, did you screw that up? You said the Air 2S can capture 5.4K. No, I did not. This can capture 5.1K, where the Air 2S can capture 5.4K. So on paper, the Air 2S has some more pixels, some more pickles to deal with. So really weird, because on paper, the Air 2S looks better in that regard, but the Mavic 3 can capture up to 50 frames per second at 5.1K, where the Air 2S can capture 5.4K, but only up to 30 frames per second. The other major difference here is that the Mavic 3 has a micro 4/3 camera system, so a larger sensor over the 1-inch sensor on the Air 2S. It also has adjustable aperture, so you can get a lot more out of this drone. The dynamic range is a lot better. The image you're getting is definitely a lot better. It's still a 20 megapixel sensor, so photos are very similar. And when you do look at some videos, like, I'm very impressed with the Air 2S. I'm very impressed with this, but for double the price, sometimes you look at it and you go, ooh, is it worth that extra $2,000? Or would I be happy with the Air 2S here? The other clear difference here is that it actually has 2 cameras on it. So it's not just a 1-inch sensor like on the Air 2S. It's a 1/2-inch sensor on top, which is the telephoto kind of zooming sensor, even though it's only optical zoom to 7 times and all the rest is digital zoom. But in terms of the micro 4/3 sensor, really amazing. Like, I'm extremely impressed with what it's capturing. Plus it also has that Hasselblad color science. So it's using the same technology of Hasselblad cameras, very like notorious for being one of the best camera systems in the world. So that's definitely a leap over that 1-inch sensor on the Air 2S. And the main thing here, which might be a big calling card for you, is this guy. The big old battery. This is a 46-minute battery, where we compare it to 30 minutes of the Air 2S and all the other drones, like, well, not all of the other drones, the Tello's definitely not getting that, but the Mini SE, the Mini 2, and also the Air 2S have a flight time of around 30 minutes recorded, but you're probably getting about 25 minutes. 46 minutes on the Mavic 3. So you're probably getting about 40 minutes or just under, but you compared 25 minutes to about 40 minutes, definitely a big improvement here. So if flight time's a big thing for you, then this guy's the one you want. The other thing is it's using the exact same controller, which a lot of people are upset about. Again, it's a Pro drone, double the price, but same controller as the Air 2S and the Mini 2, but it has OcuSync 3 Plus, so it means you get 15 kilometers of range over 12 kilometers on the Air 2S. So if range is a big thing, if battery life is a big thing, then the Mavic 3 is the one you want. The other big thing here is that it has the true omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. So it has sensors on the rear sides, on the rear facing up. You got ones on the front that kind of angle out, like bug eyes almost, and then you got some on the bottom. So it's sensing everywhere, all directions. You get the side sensors, the front, the up, the down. You do the hokey pokey and you turn around, you know, that kind of stuff. But no, to be serious, you do get obstacle avoidance everywhere. So if obstacle avoidance is a big thing for you, then that's probably why you would want to get this, because it does have obstacle avoidance everywhere. Like, it will see everything that's going on before you even see it. So the Mavic 3 is a true beast when it comes to that. The flight time, that Hasselblad camera system, that micro four thirds camera system on the front there, which is remarkable. And obviously being a dual camera system is very exciting. It really is, in terms of hardware, everything you want in a drone. It's like the perfect drone in that regard. But again, double the price is hard to justify for a lot of people. I think the Air 2S is the sweet spot. This is if you really, really, really want to take drones seriously, and some of the offerings that I've mentioned stand out to you, then that's where the Mavic 3 comes in. But again, for $4,200 Australian dollars for the Fly More combo, this isn't a cheap drone. You know, you look at the Tello, $169. This is $4,200. You really need to be taking drones seriously if you want the Mavic 3. So like I said, I will have a few comparisons between the Mavic 3 and the Air 2S. A few things that I've noticed straight away that are differences here, reasons why you would want to upgrade or spend more money if you haven't got a drone already, is slow motion. You can go up to 4K, 120 frames, where you can only do 1080p, 120 on the Air 2S. The other thing here is that you're also getting Active Track 5.0. So, you know, whether that's for you or not, that's great. But it does have an advanced active track mode. Obviously has better sensors here. It's got more fisheye sensors, so it's seeing a larger field of view. And then master shots are the same, both getting 4K for the master shots mode. And there's no like other major thing. There's no waypoints on here, for example. It's not waterproof. It doesn't have any like novel thing that makes it significantly different here. But you are getting a few more options, especially having two camera systems here. You do have a few more options over the Air 2S. Now, in terms of the quality of the photos and the videos you're capturing, I do notice a slight improvement, which you would hope, you would expect out of a double the price drone, but I am noticing an improved dynamic range here, only slightly, but I'm definitely noticing like an improvement in terms of the colors and how well this drone performs in different lighting conditions. It does have the adjustable aperture, which does make a big difference. The color science from Hasselblad does make a big difference, but again, it doesn't make a significant difference. Like, you're not going to be looking at the Air 2S and going, oh, that footage doesn't look nice. Like, the Air 2S looks great, you know, even the Mini 2 footage, the Mini SE footage, they all look great for most people. Again, it's what are you actually using this drone for and what is your budget? The Mavic 3 though, definitely an improvement as you would expect, but I don't know whether I could say it's a significant improvement. I don't know if I could say it's a $2,000 improvement, but the Mavic 3 is a beast nonetheless, and it definitely captures something unique with that micro four thirds camera system. So this is the $4,200 drone. The Tello right at the beginning is the budget-friendly $169 drone, and then we've had everything in between. We've had the Mini SE, we've had the Mini 2, and we've had the Air 2S. So I would love to know in the comments below, which drone do you already own? Are you considering upgrading, or do you not own a drone at all? Are you considering buying a brand new drone? I'd love to know in the comments below. I can definitely help you out and guide you in the right direction. And remember, you can use the code DansTube for the first 4 drones and other drones on the D1 store. You can also get accessories and cameras and whatever else they have there using the code DansTube. That will save you 10%, or Dans100 to get the Mavic 3. Get $100 off. If a family member, a friend, or even yourself is still feeling quite overwhelmed about buying a drone and how do I start, what do I do? I do actually have a drone course. It's the ultimate online drone course for beginners. It's called the Fearless Drone Academy. Go to fearlessdrone.academy and you can sign up over there and save 10% using the code DansTube. A really awesome place. Honestly, I know I created it, so I'm gonna say that, but it's 2.5 hours of high quality video tutorials. There's guidance, there's insights, there's resources. honestly, I've just packed it full of content and high quality resources and insights. So check it out and save some money using the code DANSTube. So anyway, that is the end of this epic video, quite a long one, but I wanted to pack as much as I could, as much info into this. We started with the Tello, we went to the Mini SE, we had the Mini 2, the Air 2S, and the Mavic 3. 5 fantastic drones for all different budgets, going from $169 to $4,200. Quite a range in there, but I think I offered some good insights and value, hopefully, on the drone that might be right for you. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know in the comments below what your thoughts are. If you've got a drone, if you think I said something wrong, let me know. I love to be corrected. It's fantastic. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to have an amazing day, amazing week, amazing new year, and I'll talk to you very soon. Peace.